Well, we reset our passwords. We made sure the lights.
What about our expectations?
Expectations have never been reset. All I'm going to say is this: we made the decision to come to Twitch. Maybe we caused some problems.
Casual hour.
Maybe we caused some problems. We had a hot stream the other night. We're chasing.
What we call disruptors, Bobby.
We disrupted it.
I mean, all the top streamers got their income leaked, and guys, it was pretty embarrassing to see what we were making.
For them. For them, not for us.
And who are we?
We're about to get to it. Welcome to the Casual Hour, a podcast ostensibly about video games, but mostly about us disclosing how much Twitch has paid us. I'm your host, Bobby Pease. Joining me,
Zero. Big fat goose egg.
The gamer on the go, Chase Kinnicky, and the talking head, Johnny.
I love the talking heads. Thank you.
Sorry, I'll. It's like you're just wanting that price to go up tonight. You're off to a great start.
I mean, it's already well beyond anything realistic, so
that's what we aim for.
I like to watch the numbers go up.
A lot's happening here with us tonight. We have a few things worth noting. As good Midwestern boys, we are watching our boys in red and gray and white. Is that all their colors? Did I get all those right, Chase?
Baby blue sometimes.
There's some yellow in there. Yeah.
They wear colors.
The red's the important part, yeah.
The good news about it is we don't have to get rid of our mascot because there's nothing more glorious than a Cardinal. The Cardinals are playing, and they're doing decent from what Chase has told me.
A tie game in the 8th. So I'm keeping an eye on it.
We might put Chase back a little bit on talking tonight so he can keep an eye on what's going on. Maybe I'll kick things off tonight, and we'll go out of order a little bit. But this is a big game for Chase and for all of us here in St. Louis. A lot on the table.
Baseball town.
But speaking of big games, I got something to talk about tonight as well, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to tell you about the games that we've been playing. We're going to tell you about some of the news, and maybe we're going to tell you about a Cardinals victory as we get into our episode tonight.
We'll see.
So, Johnny, I'm going to go ahead and kick us off.
Yeah.
And
sounds good.
We'll get into these video games that we're here to talk about, because I don't think that you're following the baseball game nearly as much as I am.
I mean, I have a tab open.
No, you're more than I am. I'm literally relying on both of you to keep things up here. But what I want to talk to you all about is a game that I was not even expecting to check out at all. But I saw a really cool clip art for Game Pass, and then I saw a bunch of stuff on Twitter recently for this game called Unsighted. And I got to tell you, this thing fucking rips. I've not put a ton of time into it, but this is a hyper-stylistic, cyberpunk pixel art game. Stop me if you've heard anything about those before. But it's got some...
Is this a new genre or style of game?
Very new.
I'm not familiar.
Very new, very unheard of. Nobody's seen it before. But I do think that there's some neat things that this game's doing. First,
let me pull up a trailer for this.
Yeah, it's got some really cool cutscenes in it. Your character design is...
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's real pretty to look at. It's got some awesome mechanics.
They were talking about this on Waypoint. I think Klepek played this one.
Yeah, I'm playing this on PC right now. I do think it's available on a few other platforms within Game Pass. I think you can get it other places besides that service.
It is on Switch.
Cool.
There you go.
So a few things that I'll call out right away that I think is working really well for it. Things that I love in video games is give me swappable items for sure. Like, let me collect items that I can upgrade, especially. And if there's some visual changes that go along with those, so like if I'm upgrading gear, like I want to see those upgrades visually represented, not just on like a stat count. But this game does, you have a melee weapon, which is a sword, and that's the first weapon you get in the game. It's got a really cool parry mechanic in it, but you can also deflect back projectiles that are being shot at you. You can just hit them with your sword and knock them back, and that feels really, really good. You also get a ranged weapon that you'll use both of those in conjunction to solve some puzzles in the game. That feels really good, and it does have some Metroidvania elements to it. I don't think it's as strong as others, but like one of the first things you're going to see is you can't reach this switch that's going to start moving the platform. It's like, well, if you only had another piece of equipment that could do that, so they make it known pretty early that happens. But the enemies are a bit unforgiving. You do have a syringe that you fill up by killing enemies, and you can use that syringe to refill your health bar. So you are balancing those things out, and you'll come across some tanks that you can refill it with. The writing seems to be really sharp also on this one. I haven't got to it yet, but it looks like there's even some companions. So I just got to like the first hub, and within that hub, you're acquiring blueprints. The entire time you're playing the game, you're picking up wires and scrap metal, and you're using that to go to your workbench and build new shit that you can equip, and then also upgrade weapons that you have. But I believe, from what I've seen, and this is what I'm really pumped about, you can have a dog hang out with you, and
that automatically makes it
that knocks
great.
it up big time, which is great. But it deals with some of the things that maybe you're familiar with in games. A little bit of amnesia in your character. You have some recollection of your prior life. An event takes place that seems to be catastrophic for you, but there are some people who have survived it that recognize you. They help you remember a little bit about yourself. You find out your name is Alma, and that you have some relationship with other people that are in your crew, and you're trying to understand what happened. The cityscape that you see in the backdrop looks really cool. The music, the sound design, all the pixel art, all of it's working really well. And for me, like one of the best parts is this is included with Game Pass. So checking it out there. I think the Switch will be a fine
win.
Yeah, I think this. I don't know what the price tag is for this game.
It's $20.
That's kind of what I was thinking it might be. But
standard
yeah,
indie, yeah,
standard fare for that. And again, like I've been playing another game. I'm gonna wait for Chase because I'll probably lead into that with him. I don't know how much
it's a commercial. Why don't you talk about it now?
Okay. This is gonna be super brief. So outside of Unsighted, yesterday I think, Jett the Far Shore came out, and this is the new the follow-up game to Sorcery. It's not a follow-up necessarily, but it's their next game.
I mean, it's not
the next game by Super Brothers.
Brothers. And this is that one that's had that like kind of pulled back isometric planet exploratory look to it. It's
like No Man's Sky if they drained all the color out of it.
Yeah, but I think that there's a little bit more to this game than maybe what was led on originally. And I'm only maybe an hour into it. So this is like the hottest of takes that I can give. They do a pretty good job of introducing you to the world and briefly giving you like, hey, you're getting the fuck out of here. There's some shit going down. This planet's dying. You're essentially leaving behind your community. You get into this ship. The ship design's really neat. It's even a little Sputnik-y. Like it's got some like retro vibes to it. Like the curves on it makes me think.
Yeah, there's a very Eastern European look and feel. Like I don't think these characters were speaking Russian. I think it's a made up language, but it definitely
felt
has
like Russian
Eastern European.
Yeah,
it feels very Russia,
and that color palette goes to it. Of like this is, it's just kind of this bleak feel, and it makes a really good first impression.
Yeah,
man,
or a really dark first impression, but it's
really dark but very good quality. First impression.
Yeah.
And they, I think flying feels really good in this game. I'll come out and say that. Like I think that it took me a minute to understand like what the buttons do. I was, and that was my fault. Like I was trying to video game this a bit more than it was ready to be video gamed, and I was trying to use some knowledge that I had from other video. Oh shit! I should update what we're talking about. Some other.
Well, the beginning like really handled you in a way that I think it goes on a little bit too long.
Yeah.
One of the things I think is really cool about this game is that they tell you straight up, like, "Hey, you're in chapter 1. This is the embark chapter.
Yep.
It's going to take you about 30 minutes." I'm like, "Oh, that's kind of cool. That's interesting to know." And it is a lot of tutorial stuff with that ship, where it's like, okay, I can kind of guess that you could have just put the different moves on the buttons and just let me go, and I would have figured it out. But your guy wants to tell you, hey, why don't you try a hop this time? Why don't you
Yep.
try a pop, which is different than a
Hopping
hop?
and popping, baby.
Um, why don't you try a skid? And it's like, okay, that's fine. But it goes on for like 30 minutes, and then you get to your main goal, which is this big spaceship, and it kind of Mass Effect Andromeda's you, where it says you're all leaving this place and you're going to find a new place for humanity to live or start, and everybody else back home dies, and it's a really pretty cool thing where you all get into this rocket and it goes off and it says year zero, and
Yep.
then it ticks over to 1 and 2 and 10 and 30 and 50 and 90, and it goes up to 1,001. So 1,001 years have passed when you guys have been in this kind of cryo sleep on this rocket, and that's where I stopped. Where you're just about to start chapter 2 because it said, "Hey, this chapter is about 2 hours." I went, "Oh, I've got a baseball game to watch, so I'm not going to play any more of this game." Bobby, it sounds like you got a little into that next section.
I did.
Okay.
And I can't state this enough. What happens in that whole process of leaving the tutorial to going to that year 1001 is one of the more impactful openings to a game I've experienced in some time. And it is so visually just like overwhelming on what they're doing, and the style of this game complements that so well. There's
It's not just you like taking a taxi to the rocket. It is you going from your kind of really fieldy homeland area
yeah,
to what is basically like the only city this place has, and you park your ship there, and everybody is there. There's just people who are standing there because they know that you're the only future that their people
yeah,
have. Like, they know they're all dead and it doesn't matter. But like this group that is going on this journey, they are the only hope for this species to live anymore. So you just see these groups of people just standing out there, this giant crowd, as they are watching you.
yep,
Like what was the line, Bobby? It's like you belong to our future. I think that's what
yeah,
they say, and that's kind of what everybody says as a kind of general line. And it is really affecting, and you do feel like, holy shit, I'm taking on I'm
oh
in
yeah,
this big important mission, and you're also the youngest one. You're the younger sister of this family. The older sister says, hey, I'll take care of mom and dad, you're on this big journey doing what you do.
yep,
And then the rest of the group feels like everybody's kind of got their job, what they should do. Here's like the commander person. Here's I'm trying to remember some of the other jobs, but you're a mystic or
yep.
something. What are your
You're
yeah.
you're the youngest and only mystic.
Okay.
And so the other thing too is like when you're not in your ship, you're going into a first person view, and so you're like up close and personal with these things, and so it's not like you're just experiencing this from your ship. One of the things that I think was just fucking brilliant, and it's done so well, is when the tutorial's happening, but also when you're interacting with your shipmate, what's what's around you fades out, and all you see is the reflection of your character in the cockpit off of the glass dome of the ship, and you can see the person behind you talking to you. And then when you take back control, it like fades it back out to the world, and then you have your ship pulled back. And it's so fucking cool how they do it. But I don't want to give away too much because you're just right there. But the way that they bring you into the atmosphere, and I was so pissed. I was so pissed last night because um the tool I use on my computer to do screenshots, like I'm just spamming it, like trying to spam this for screenshots, and it just wasn't fucking working. So I'm half tempted to just start that over again to grab
Do it
some.
again.
Um,
Tell you're playing. What are you playing this, Bobby?
I'm playing this on PC.
Okay, so I'm playing on PS4. Maybe it's the same for you in a different way, but it always has the PS4 or the PlayStation controller UI in the bottom corner. So I almost was like, this would be a great screenshot game if I could turn some of this shit off. And maybe there is a way to turn some of that UI off, but
Is there a photo mode or something?
Not that I've seen, but like
yeah.
I I literally clean that stuff up in Photoshop all the time. So like I'll just take screenshots and I'll remove UI elements all the time and shit that I want to have.
It is interesting to hear you guys be so positive with the brief amount of time you spent on it, because I was looking at reviews and they're very middling.
Yeah,
If
they're
not
like in the
somewhat
60s,
negative.
70s
Yeah.
that I've seen.
Yeah. So I'm very interested to see.
It's a strong opening.
To be fair,
how it holds up
I don't think
as you progress.
Bobby and I have really gotten to the game part.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
maybe that is where it starts to fall apart. But
no, it sounds like it makes a really strong first impression. And maybe it just can't.
You know what else?
That.
You know what else makes a very strong first impression? $30, which is a lot of dollars. I did not expect this game to be $30.
How much time can you expect to get out of this game? Do you know?
I have no idea.
I don't know. I did check how long to beat today, and it didn't have any updates on it.
Yeah, it's hard for me to know for sure what that looks like here, but I do think it's a cool concept. I'm a big sucker for science fiction as it stands, and this is like my type of science fiction. Like what I'll say is like there's some voices in game coverage that I have grown to trust pretty blindly. I feel like I align with them pretty well, and I know I heard them talk a few weeks back about the preview that they were given of this game that leads up to a certain point in it, and it sounded like it was doing similar things for them that it is for Chase and I, and they went a bit further with it. So I don't know what people were expecting from this game. I don't know if they were expecting this a space exploration game, and maybe it's I haven't read the reviews. Maybe it is the like very like in your face interacting with people, talking to them and having some dialogue stuff. Like it's a slower game for sure. Maybe that's not what they were expecting. So who's to say? I'm excited to dig into it a bit more. But it's
I imagine it's something Bobby and I might record a quick look of at some point.
Yeah, 100%.
So maybe be on the lookout for that.
But it's been hard for me to spend a lot of time with anything else the last few days because I have.
Well, in Jett the Far Shore, you're looking for a new world, and Bobby has also been looking for a new world
in Jeff Bezos' own.
Yes,
I took Jeff Bezos' rocket from Jett to my new world, which
you have just been spamming me with screenshots and pictures of your screen, and hey, it's only $40. Hey,
this is where I can stop and just watch the baseball game, right? I'll just be back in like an hour and a half, and I'm sure Bobby.
I'll keep it brief, ish. So I've talked about this game a little bit. I streamed it one Friday night when it was in one of the multiple betas that it had. The playtest beta. I had this game on my wish list for a while before I even knew it was an MMO. Like I just thought this was going to be like a new action RPG that would be, in tune with something like a Witcher or a Greedfall, maybe even like a little bit of Skyrim at times. Like I thought maybe it would fall into those categories. And then it's like, okay, it's going to be an MMO. And I've had an opportunity to check out some MMOs in the past, and they're fine. I like them. The combat in MMOs has always been kind of a problem for me. Like I don't necessarily like cooldowns that much. But somebody who had been playing the beta before I got a chance to was just like, hey, if you pre-order the game, you get access to the beta. You can just cancel your pre-order. And I'm like, that sounds fair. Like that's a chance to check it out. But, like it actually feels more like an action RPG that you're just playing solo. With just like you'll come across people, and I'm like, I can get on board with that. And so I downloaded it, and I immediately felt that way. I saw it was either a review or a Reddit thread that was saying that this is the most relaxed MMO that they've ever experienced, and I tend to agree. I have not done anything with a group. I haven't felt like I've needed to, and I'm not opposed to it. But
are there dungeons or instances and things in which you need to have a party or matchmake with others to
there's
play through and complete an objective?
Not that I have encountered yet. So I think I'm like at level 19. You can go up to 60 in this game. And the crazy thing about it is that in a lot of games that I've played not too dissimilar from Destiny, not too dissimilar from my time with the New Republic, even a little bit of or the Old Republic, I'm sorry. When I played a little bit of Final Fantasy, excuse me, the importance of like your character being a certain level really mattered a whole lot. But this one is really all up
there.
I'm dying in this new world. Let me get another drink here. I don't know if I swallowed something. This game is all about like, hey, whatever you want to level up, level up. Your character goes with it, of course. Like there's things that give you XP, but there's no classes in this.
Boxed in to
Yeah.
a particular class or style of play, which is a, you know, I appreciate that concept.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole thing is like even down to armor. Like there's light, medium, or medium armor and heavy armor, and depending on what you equip, there's going to be a bonus of like the damage output that you're doing and taking. It does change you have a dodge that could be a roll, it could be a sidestep, or just like a hop, depending on the armor that you have on. There's like 6 or 7, maybe more. I can't think off the top of my head right now, different weapon classes. And the more you use it, that puts XP into that weapon that unlocks its skill tree. And then there's 3 abilities per weapon that you can equip. And that's really cool. And so I have just been doing all kinds of stuff though. Like if you wanted to get good at lumberjacking, you can do that by going and cutting down trees. If you want to be better at fishing, just go fishing. One of you guys
Bobby needs to be better at talking. So
yeah, one of you guys need to talk for a second.
Well, it's still 1-1 in the baseball game. They're going to the top of the 9th. It's scary. It's very scary here. I'm very scared.
I think I'm better. I have been getting over a cold. I'm sorry. But again, like I've set out on this game, and it does. I guess the hardest thing that I've come across in it so far has been the way that it handles traveling, which is out in the world, you'll come across like these spirit shrines or whatever. I can't remember what they're called. And you can use that. And there's a currency that you get in the game. It's not really currency. It's just, it's I guess like a point, or you're collecting it. I think it's called Azeroth or something like that. And depending on how far you are away from...
That'd be a weird thing for it to be called.
Wait.
What?
Azeroth?
I don't know.
That is the name of the continent from World of Warcraft.
It's like AZ.
So very strange.
AZR. I can't remember what it's called. There's
okay. It'd just be a very weird flex for an MMO to go, yeah, we named something Azeroth because fuck you, WoW.
I mean,
you,
I'm probably just saying something like it's there's an A and a Z, and I think that's what you're using to fast travel. I think I might be wrong.
Okay, that's fine.
But anyway, the further away you are from the objective that you're trying to get to, which can be a settlement that you discovered, or it can be an inn in a town that you've been to, you'll travel back to it. But there's just a lot of time where you're cruising through this new world, and I really have enjoyed that. Like this is one of the first times where I was like, I don't really want to fast travel. I don't always have an objective, but like I want to head to this part of the continent, and I might come across some objectives, but I might also find like herbs and other things that I can start to gather, because crafting is a huge part of this game, and you all know that like that's a sweet spot of mine. So I am collecting a lot of resources that then unlock my ability to go and create things. And so there's not shops in this game like you would expect from a traditional MMO or like an RPG. There's just an auction house. And so if I'm leveling up things, like if I'm able to go and get like a rare material that I can mine, or I can cut down from wood, or if I can make thread and then create armor, I can essentially go to this auction house and just start selling things. And one of the other things that's really cool is there's 3 factions in the game that you can pick. You can change factions every 120 days if for whatever reason you decide you want to do that. But the factions can kind of own these territories. And so there's a whole other thing where you're leveling up the territories that you're in. And so like if you do things in those environments, you get skill points for the map. And then as you're upgrading the map, it's like, okay, well, I want to gain more XP when I'm in here, or I want to have a lower tax rate on me when I'm doing things here. And so you can choose what perks you want when you're in certain territories. And they also have their own independent storage units. And so there might be a storage unit that has more of my weapons. There might be one that has more of my gear. It doesn't go across territory to territory, but that has been a little bit of an adjustment. But it's not. It's actually pretty cool. But one of the neat things that is like if you're in a guild and you have a faction that you're part of, and your guild happens to own that territory, well, you're now making money off of all the happenings that are in that territory. Like your guild is getting money. And there's a really crazy money management aspect to this. Like it's a very more complicated version of what you would experience in like a Ni no Kuni 2 when you're doing like the town building there. So that's like kind of how you would approach it. The combat feels really good. I'm using a musket and a hammer, and that's been a really fun combo to like pull aggro with your musket and then finish them off with your hammer.
Whack him in the head with a hammer.
Because if you do that, you're getting XP in both weapons. And so like I've been trying to like min-max that a little bit and build some stuff out, but I've been thinking about this game a whole lot when I'm not playing it. Like I have thoroughly enjoyed my time in it. It feels like I'm playing another Witcher or something like that. Like that's how it feels to me. There's just a lot of people around, and it feels.
What about the writing and the storytelling and stuff? Is it?
I haven't. I mean, I haven't experienced a whole lot of it. There seems to be corruption that has taken over. You get kind of brought in through some sort of world experience into this new world, and you're clearing out the corruption that's there. I haven't had a whole lot of story beats with it so far for the main thing.
Okay.
Because I am just like running off doing shit, and like there is a strong sense of repetition here. Like, hey, go here, kill these things, get this stuff, bring it back here, do that.
As you do, and
yeah,
in MMO.
But there are things that you can do. Like there's a whole PvP layer to this game that like I'm just not participating in. That it seems really cool, and I'm sure I'll get there. Because you're taking on projects for towns, you're taking on projects for factions, you're taking on projects for stories, and you'll see a bunch of stuff on your map that you need to go and do. It's just really fucking cool, man. Like it's incredibly well done, I think. The queues have been a problem, but they're getting a lot better. They just put out a new thing for like limiting AFK on it for people and kicking them out so to get more people into it. I also like my cousin's playing this game and he's with a guild and he's like, hey, if you're going to play with us, or if you want to play with us, like this is where you need to be and what you need to do. And they had already picked like a very popular server, but there's other servers that you can get to, and they're going to implement a fix, which I think maybe came out today or is coming out next week or soon, where you can transfer your character to a new server and avoid some of this.
That has been a pain point, I know, for you.
Yeah.
The queue times, getting the full MMO experience over there, Bobby.
Yeah, so I think definitely a big surprise for me this year. I think also just a very enjoyable game for me. Like it's a game that like I love being in, whether it's hunting, fishing, gathering, doing all that shit. Like it's just really fun. It's a fun game to be in for sure. I can't say enough good things about it. And as I've been choking my way through this, should we go to Johnny and come back to you, Chase?
Yeah, I can go. I can be pretty short. I mean, we already talked about Jett the Far Shore. The only other game I've really been the only other new game I've been putting time into. I'm still playing World Flipper. I'm still playing some Destiny, but I've been playing some Beastbreaker, which is a relatively new game that came out. I think just a couple weeks ago. It's from a small developer called. We do have a quick look up. It's up now. You can go watch that. And it's from a small developer called Vodio Games. It's like video games, except with an O.
Like that.
Like that. It's pretty good. And specifically, one of the members of the development is the creator of Threes. So if you like playing Threes on your phone,
what's his name?
Now you have my attention.
Asher Volmer, I believe, is how you pronounce it.
Okay.
Good dude. I follow him on Twitter. He's good. I think, I'm not sure. I think his mom liked our quick look video.
Was that? I was wondering if that's why I'm looking it up because.
He did, and another designer or engineer from Vodio liked it, and then there was an older woman with the last name Volmer, and I'm like,
If that's not
was
some of
that
the
your
most
mom?
wholesome shit,
That's too good.
Uh, that'd be pretty cool if that's the case. So I've been playing some Beastbreaker, which is, if I try to break it down and simplify it, it's kind of like a turn-based Peggle game. I think it's like a turn-based Peggle RPG.
yeah,
That's probably the
yeah,
best way to
with
describe
some
it.
like
Uh,
pinball mechanics for sure.
yeah. There's like some the Peggle pinball kind of thing. It's a lot about. It actually reminds me a lot of Hold Down too, which is one of
Yep.
my favorite games on my phone. But you play as a mouse, and you find your like an anthropomorphic mouse, and there are beasts that are terrifying your town, and you hear a voice call out to you for help, and you pick up your grandmother's sword and you go out there and you fight one of these beasts, and these beasts are all these kind of crystally monsters, and they have these scales and then cores, and all of those are kind of like the Arkanoid style blocks where you have to, or breakout, I guess. So you have these kind of breakout blocks that you have to shatter on these beasts to get to those cores, and then you hit the cores, and it's kind of like hold down in the way that there are numbers on each of these pieces, and you have to hit them that many times or do that much damage to them. So your regular attack with just the little sword hits for one each time you bounce off, but you can have it bounce and ricochet multiple times to get multiple hits in at once. Um, you will eventually get the ability to craft some new weapons that will be able to do more powerful moves. Like there's a move that you can do that does 2 damage instead of one, and it does that on every single bounce. So you can start to really multiply some damage. Or you get a shield that you can use to start applying block to yourself, because the enemies also get a chance to hit. They have this big highlighted area on different turns, and if your character lands, so think of it as like playing pool or something, if your ball lands and stops in this one area that's highlighted, the enemy is going to attack that, and you're going to take damage if you don't have enough blocks saved up. But then in a kind of RPG monster train kind of card battle way, you're able to do some things like, oh, I can convert all my block to damage with a different kind of attack or a different special attack that you get. It is pretty tactical
Mhm.
and turn based and cool. I'm playing it on the Switch. I know it's also on PC.
It's on
I think those are the
Epic.
only.
That's where I grabbed
You're
it.
right, Epic Game Store. I think those are the only two places that it's available at the moment.
One thing really
My
quick before you
one,
get too far from it, Chase, that I thought was really
yeah,
cool
go
in
for it.
the quick look. So the beast as it's shape shifting, and this, like I asked Chase, I saw, because it gives you a pretty good indication of like, hey, it's going to attack this way. And I was like, well, hey, if you break that piece of the beast off to where it would no longer be a viable resource for it to attack with, and you sure shit could. Like that was really neat to see. Like I'm gonna bust this arm off of this crab shape or whatever it was. Like it was a bird that you were fighting, and
Mhm.
you clipped one of its wings, literally, and it no longer had the ability to use that in the formation, which I thought, like from a tactic standpoint, like that was really cool because you made mention that you are collecting these drops on the map. If you do take out enough of the stuff on it, like you'll get them at the end of the battle. But I thought that was cool if you
Right.
wanted to spend a bit more time like racking up stuff. Like that was a neat thing to me that you could do.
Yeah, it doesn't force a. I mean, it doesn't force a hard time limit on you. These beasts have a rampage counter, and you have to break one of its cores to be able to reset that counter. And the beast will have a number of cores and then a number of scales. The scales don't really matter; they're just kind of the shields that keep you from getting to the cores. But if you can break a core, it'll reset the. Hang on. Foul ball. Oh shit, that was almost the game right there. Uh, um, but if you break one of these cores, it'll reset the rampage gauge, and that'll let you kind of keep going. The game does have some kind of Angry Birds style par times, or like par strokes, I guess, for how many shots you take. And if you can beat the beast in so much of a time, you get a better score. But I feel like the game is rewarding you more for breaking those cores and getting the crafting materials out of them. So it kind of behooves you to really play methodically and break everything you can, especially early in the game. I found um, my one gripe that I brought up in the quick look was that the aiming felt a little imprecise to me. Playing on the Switch, I was using the left analog stick, and it was a little, it just wasn't as precise as I wanted it to be. And I was even telling Bobby, like, I wish this had just a way to like make a little tiny tap here or there where I can really get fine tune action in there.
Yep.
And lo and behold, it's using the triggers of the bumpers. If you use the
Right.
triggers, you can just kind of go in a clockwise or counterclockwise way, and then the bumpers will do just that individual. Here's like the pixel movement, pixel movement, pixel movement, so you can actually really get precise on that. Bobby, you said you were going to play it on PC, and I assume playing with a mouse, it's not a problem at all.
Yeah, it's it's a really nice feel there. And again, like I think that there's I don't know how people judge games, right? Like I don't know how people tie dollar value to game. Like is it the replayability, is it the length to do it? But I think that the price for what you get here, because this game is relatively dense for what you're doing. Like the combat, like you think Peggle or something like that, it's like, okay, I'm gonna bust through these bricks pretty quick. Or even like with Hold Down, like Hold Down had some magic to it. Like it took a very simple concept and complicated it. And I'm not ready to draw the lines in the sand between those two effectively yet with Beastbreaker. But I think Beastbreaker is doing some really cool things with numbers and turn-based mechanics and a familiar thing. Like you don't have to be brilliant to know I need to shoot here, but there's some strategies that will come into it, whether you're looking to collect things, upgrade things, or break apart things. And the value that you're getting with that, like the loop that you're going to experience for the cost of this game, I think is much higher than what the dollar value is showing. And
Yeah, I'd agree with that. There is something to be said when I think about a game like Threes or Hold
Mhm.
Down, Peggle. Like those are games that I could go back to and just play.
yeah,
And this one, I think maybe because of the RPG elements and like not just elements. This game's an RPG. You're gonna talk to characters. You're
yep,
crafting materials. You're getting better. Um, it makes me feel like if once I finish this game, I'll be done with it. It's not a thing I'll keep coming back to like a game like Hold Down or Threes is. And that's okay. That's actually perfectly fine. And for what it is, I think it's doing some cool stuff. And I'm gonna keep playing it. But
yeah, that's neat.
Bobby mentioned it probably would play really good on a phone, and
Yeah.
that's one place that it's just
They
not yet.
have any plans to port it to mobile that you know of?
I don't remember seeing it. Again, it's a small developer. I think they're trying to focus on the platforms that they're on. And maybe if it becomes a bigger hit, they'll look into porting it to other places. But it's worth checking out. I think the art is nice. It's got kind of a flashed look to it with
Mhm.
those big chunky outlines. It's the writing's pretty good. I wish it had some voice acting, but again, it's a small dev. I get it, but the mechanics I think are there, and they're pretty
Sounds
cool.
sounds
It's
pretty
one to check
neat.
out.
Yeah, it's cool.
Very cool.
It is on sale right now too, I think.
Yeah,
I think
it's I think it's probably just about to go off sale or having a launch sale.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
if
it's
you're listening to
$12
this,
right now.
That's a
you can probably go grab it.
lot of
It's a good
game
deal.
there. Chase,
Um,
go ahead, Johnny.
yeah, nothing. I'm good.
I'm gonna make you talk about something.
Okay.
Um, it can be brief.
Hmm.
I need to hear the words from your mouth on
Yeah.
this one. What have you been playing? I I know you've been playing it, but tell the folks here.
Yeah. Knowing that it was on Bobby's list, knowing that it's something that's going to come up in December, I decided, hey, I only have a few days left on this Apple Arcade before it goes away. Let's play some clap hands golf.
Yep.
And I did, and that game's great, and I was really enjoying it. Enough, in fact, especially once I got Don Pappas, who's
Papa's in the
possibly
Uh-huh.
house.
the character of the year. Um,
Better golfer, better clothes. Don
uh-huh.
Papa's.
Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. He's so my Apple Arcade subscription renews on October 11th, And I thought, all right, am I gonna renew this? And like, okay, I'll renew this. I'm really having a good time with this game. And as soon as I renewed it, I don't know what changed, but I have been having so many errors where it loses track of my finger and then gains it again, so it makes my shots, it just fucks up all my shots. And now
Slicing
I've
it?
been no, not even slicing it. It's like you have to pull back and then swipe up,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it's losing track of my finger halfway up, so it's making it like a much shorter shot. So it's just little taps. And it's been terrible. And I was not dealing with that at all before I started the subscription again. I don't know. I'll take
money.
whatever conspiracy theories.
Do me a favor.
They do not. They do not have my money. That's the point. I canceled my subscription again. Fuck you, Apple. And I deleted the game. I like the game. I think it's great. But I've been having some problems with it, and also I need to stop playing it because I've been playing it too much. So I deleted the game. But it's fun, and I'm a Pappas believer. That's what matters.
This is a Don Papa's podcast.
Yes, the Don Pappas appreciation podcast.
I think that game's fine with touch, but I enjoy playing with the controller much better. Much better.
Sure, I bet it would be great. I don't have a way to do that I would be comfortable using.
You can use.
I bet it would also probably feel better on an iPad. My iPad's too old to play it though. So
play it on your MacBook with a controller, sync Bluetooth.
You know, they sell new iPads.
Maybe I've got 5 days. Oh, well, I'm not worried about the iPad. I've got 5 days. I might try it on my MacBook Pro and see how it feels on a controller. But I like the touch controls. It just stopped working very well.
You like it until you don't.
Well, it was weird. It was like a week, maybe less than a week, but it was a good amount of days where I was playing this game with zero problems, having a perfect time. And it was just after I picked. Actually, it was two things. I don't know if the other thing has anything to do with it either. I restarted my subscription, and Bobby told me to play it in 60 FPS mode, and so I switched to 60 FPS. And I don't know if that changes the finger tracking at all. That doesn't make any sense to me. But it did not. It just started losing track of my fingers. It absolutely looks better. I'll give it to you on that one. But yeah, I don't know what happened. But it's great, but also it was getting to the point of like, this is a game that I play on my phone, and I'd really just like to play it for like 5 minutes or something. But I'm playing these 6-hole matches or 9-hole score attacks, and it's like, oh, I'm sitting here for like half an hour. This phone's getting hot. It doesn't feel good in my hand anymore. I think I just need to stop. So I've had my fun with clap hands, and I'm happy to put it away for now.
Well, speaking of sports that require no hands, Johnny, what can you tell us about FIFA 22?
Okay, I won't talk about this too long because I know you two do not care whatsoever.
It's not that I don't care, but I am parched, so I am going to go get a glass of water while you talk about FIFA 22.
Okay, great.
Okay, I'll be right back.
So I got my hands on a copy of FIFA 22.
I don't care.
I know you don't.
Kidding.
And it's more FIFA.
They haven't. This is not only. I promise I will let you say what you got to say about it, but what you're getting to, what you're about to say, I have heard almost every single person that I have in my circles that play sports games say Madden hasn't done anything new, basketball's not doing anything new, FIFA's not doing anything new, and what the fuck is going on here, man?
I mean, it's an annual sports franchise, and as such, they do not have the time to necessarily innovate. And now that the game that Konami puts out, which was Pro Evolution Soccer, now eFootball, is the worst rated game on Steam, they have even less motivation to maybe innovate and try new things. I mean, they do make little tweaks.
What happened to Winning 11? Is that the same thing as Pro Evolution?
Oh God, I don't think so. I mean, there's Football Manager, which is a tactical game, very different, and then there's PES, and then FIFA. I play these games.
Winning 11 is Pro Evolution Soccer. It's
okay.
The same thing.
They changed the name. I love soccer. It's my favorite sport. and all I do is play the head-to-head online matches against other people. I don't do FIFA Ultimate Team because it is such an incredible time sink, and also it can take a lot of money to build a squad with players that you like, and it's all random, and it's just not worth the time investment that it would take. So what I do, I have my favorite teams that I like. Liverpool. The one thing I've been playing as Liverpool. I was winning here and there, and maybe it was just me getting used to the new like passing and things that they changed this year. But I switched to Paris Saint-Germain, which has like 3 of the best strikers in the world playing on their team now.
Mario strikers.
Yes.
Soccer. Okay.
I switched to them last night. I was in Division 10. I got relegated. And then since a couple days ago, I've been promoted twice to Division 8. Because it feels kind of like cheating with that team. Because the people that score the goals are just so good statistically wise in the game. So, look, it's more FIFA. If you play these games,
have you came across Roy Kent?
Yes.
No, I haven't.
Is the dude?
Ted Lasso's not here.
No. Is the story thing in there? What's the kid's name?
Probably. Oh, the journey or whatever.
Yeah,
I played that like a couple of years ago.
Alex something.
Playing
I wanted to
against
say
the
Alex
computer,
Jones, but it's definitely not.
It's not Alex Jones. Playing against the computer is generally too easy. You can't ramp the difficulty up, but it tends to just be kind of like they're cheating. Alex Hunter.
Santa.
Yeah. So it's FIFA. I enjoy it. It's like Call of Duty. Like a new one comes out every year. You're gonna know whether or not you like this game before you get into it.
It's Call of Duty with your feet.
Yep. The other thing that I've been spending the most time with. So you guys remember Death Stranding?
Yes, I do.
Remember how you and Bobby both had it on your Game of the Year list, and I did not.
I did.
I remember it was on my list.
I did that.
Yeah, it was on Bobby's list. Yeah, it was number 7,
really?
I think. Yep, it was like number 7 or 8.
Bobby.
Anyway, this director's cut came out. I have toyed with the idea of buying this game on PC numerous times whenever it goes on sale, just because I'm sure it would look so pretty, and the gameplay loop part of it is good. I enjoy that.
It is. It's really good.
It's really good. And then they announced this director's cut, which added, a catapult, and you have a racetrack, and a bunch of other shit that wasn't in the game before. And I was like, you know what? It's $10. I'm gonna get the updated graphics. It's gonna run in 60 FPS. Why the hell not? And you know what? I think this was the right time for me to play this game again, because I've been having a fantastic time playing Death Stranding until I get to the story beats. And then there was
the quote. I'm having a fantastic time playing Death Stranding. Quote from Johnny Amosage. Yeah. Put it on the back of the box.
Look, man, I'm in episode 5 now, I think.
I do. I cannot give you shit. Every time you talk about it, I think about it. And it's like, I actually really did enjoy that game. I know I had some complicated feelings about it, and the ending is so stupid.
Yeah,
but I had such a good time playing that.
Yeah, It's been the perfect game for me. I've been listening to the Lord of the Rings audiobook read by Andy Serkis, which is fantastic. And Death Stranding is the perfect game to put a podcast onto and make some deliveries or collect some materials, build up your roads. Like it's
Call of Duty for your feet.
I'm having a similar experience with it now as I did when I revisited The Last of Us Part 2 earlier this year. I'm like, maybe I was too harsh.
Now you've lost me. I don't know what you're talking about now.
And yeah, I just unlocked the racetrack, which you have to supply all the materials for. So I haven't actually experienced the racetrack yet. I don't have the catapult, the cannon yet, or the the jetpack thing that you can use to like hover down to the ground.
Yeah.
But
How about the pair of legs that just carries all your shit for you?
don't have those yet either. But I just unlocked the zip line. I'm assuming like a lot of the stuff will come a little bit later on as I
It's got
progress.
maybe the best zip line I've had in a game.
Fucking good zip lines.
Yeah, so I haven't built one of those yet. I got my PCC ready to go for me to set those up. I'm headed to Mountain Knot City, which I think is the point where you have to like climb up the mountain, basically.
Yeah,
right?
that's when the game gets good, bad, interesting. Well, maybe all of the above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked about this game at length.
Yeah.
Over the last couple of years, and not much more needs to be said. But I'm really glad that this game exists because there is nothing else quite like it, despite its numerous flaws. Like it's so weird and different from what you get from normal AAA, quote unquote type games. So
there is one game that is relatively close to it, and that's called Metal Gear Solid V. Mm-hmm. And it's on sale right now for $5 on PSN. You can pick up a really good playing game with another really dumbass story for $5.
The worst Metal Gear game, but maybe the best open world sandbox game.
God, it plays like a fucking dream, and it watches like a fucking shit show.
Speaking of playing like a dream, the Halo Infinite had test flights over the last 2 weekends, and I've already talked a lot about how I feel about this game. So I think what I'd like to do is just say how happy it makes me to see so many people loving Halo again. Like almost all of the people who I follow on Twitter and or just in the games media are just talking about how great Halo Infinite feels to play and how fun it is, and it does my heart a world of good for 343 to finally threaded that needle. So it seems anyway for these multiplayer test flights. Seeing all the clips and things, it was the most viewed game on Twitch over the weekend, and it's going to be free to play. So I don't know. I feel like Halo for the first time in a long time is in a good spot. I know that there were people who enjoyed Halo 5. I had fun with it for the brief time I spent with it, but this feels more like what I want from a more modern Halo game, and it's good to see other people feeling that as well. The last thing is I had a chance today to collectively spend about an hour. I played 2 rounds of Conquest in that Battlefield 2042 early access beta. And Chase, you haven't played a Battlefield game since Bad Company 2, it sounds like. And Bobby, I don't know. Right. Have you ever bought a Battlefield game?
What's the one that came out like 2012?
That'd be Battlefield 3. Came out in like fall of 2011. That was the first one that I played. I played Battlefield 1942 on Xbox Arcade. Loved it. It was World War II. And then I played the shit out of 3 and 4.
I didn't like what I played. I didn't think it felt great. And honestly, like I just don't give much thought to PvP stuff.
Right. Yeah. I know that's not your bread and butter, but I
was always more of a Call of Duty guy when I did play those kinds of games, and now I don't play those games much at all.
And given my feelings towards Activision at the moment, I was leaning towards probably not buying Call of Duty this year.
Yeah, you want to go to a developer you love and trust, like Electronic Arts,
right?
Who's never done you wrong.
Never, ever. And it's one of those things like, if you've played Battlefield before and you like it, you will probably enjoy this game. I thought the way that you can call in vehicles, like I don't know what it is on controller, but on keyboard you hold B down, you have a list of vehicles that you can choose from, and depending on what's available, you can have it dropped in to where you are on the map, which is great if you're on a a point on the map, and it's far away from wherever the next place you need to get is. You can drop an ATV or even a tank or something if it's available. Hop in. I did get into a tank and just fuck shit up. It was me driving, operating the main cannon, and the minigun, and then I had 2 other gunners in there with me, and we were just fucking shit up, and it was so much fun. It's just Conquest is the only game mode that's available during this beta test. The full game comes out November 19th, and I will definitely be picking this up.
Cool.
I'm feeling pretty happy that I'll have a new Battlefield and a new Halo to be playing later on this year. And I started Far Cry 6, but I have not played enough of that to really say much about it. I will be playing more of that when we're done with this podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna play tonight.
Yeah.
We lose.
Well, baseball's over.
We lost.
Yeah. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs.
Not
Is that it? Is that it for the whole season?
We're done. Yep, Cardinals are done. I'm not taking off the hat because I don't want to be a fan anymore.
Well,
I'm taking it off because I'm hot. I'm hot as shit.
I mean, weren't people where they were at earlier in the season?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it surprising that they even made it to the wild card?
Yeah, we weren't supposed to be here. So pretty cool anyway. Sorry. Continue on.
But
we're
gonna record a quick look tomorrow of Far Cry. We're gonna try to at least. So it'll be pretty early on in the game. So we'll have that posted. If you're listening to this podcast, you can go and watch that next week on YouTube. But we'll have that ready to go next week. Yeah, I'm excited to check that one out. Johnny, what do you say we get into the report?
Okay. Let's hang on. Let me get my Johnny Amizich, reporter in the field here. So we alluded to it towards the top of the show, but apparently all of Twitch got leaked.
The
and
whole
by that I mean
thing.
The whole thing. It's source code going back to its early beginnings, is the quote here in this Video Games Chronicle article I'm looking at here. It is. So yeah, if you're watching this or listening to this podcast and you have a Twitch account, you should reset your password. Yep. You should probably also enable 2-factor or multi-factor authentication if you use an authenticator app like Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator. It takes no time at all to set up, and it makes your account more secure. So even if your password does get obtained by somebody, unless they have that app, they can't get into it. But this is pretty big. Like in a week of gigantic tech companies having problems.
They have not pinpointed the leak or anything yet, right? They don't know where it came from?
No. The only thing that they have said as of the latest update from this article is Twitch saying, we can confirm a breach has taken place. Our teams are working with urgency to understand the extent of this. We'll update the community as soon as additional information is available. Thank you for bearing with us.
The other thing I would say...
It's fucked. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
I would say it might not be terrible to reset your Amazon password either.
Fair. And it also gave payment information about Twitch creators, showing, their payout reports from... I thought it was from 2019 to 2020, but this article just says from 2019. So maybe from 2019 going forward, how much money they've made. It showed proprietary SDKs and internal AWS services used by Twitch. Every other property that Twitch owns, including IGDB and CurseForge, which I didn't realize they own CurseForge. That is a service that my son Jude uses daily for Minecraft on this computer here. An unreleased Steam competitor, codenamed Vapor, from Amazon Game Studios. And Twitch internal red teaming tools designed to improve security by having staff pretend to be hackers. So this was posted on 4chan, as a lot of things like this are, through a torrent file that was a whopping 125 gigs of info.
Hey, that'll teach you to fucking not get me into New World.
Yeah, exactly. And And the person who did this, they're anonymous because 4chan is an anonymous website. They said the leak was intended to, quote, foster more disruption and competition in the online video game streaming space because, quote, their community is a disgusting, toxic cesspool. Funny to see something.
Our community, I agree.
Yeah.
But it's funny to see that last line being posted on 4chan.
That's fair.
Yeah, it remains to be seen the ramifications of this. Obviously, no company likes it when their source code gets leaked. It's hard to say the ramifications, but it is easy to say that if this person is to get caught, they will probably go to jail for a very long time.
Yeah, don't do this shit. This is bad stuff. Take care of yourself. Beyond Twitch, you should have two-factor on all your passwords, and you should not use the same password. You should change your password. Be smart on the internet.
Yeah.
It's not.
I have to imagine that they are seeking out this person, trying to figure out who it is, and prosecute them to the full extent of the law. So that happened today. Konami. You guys remember Konami?
Cool Nami, man.
They published all those Metal Gear games. I mentioned the Pro Evolution Soccer series, which is doing great.
Oh, Winning 11.
Yep, Winning 11. They've moved more towards pachinko, and they also own.
I mean, they put out collections and stuff. Like they just got that Castlevania Advanced collection on Switch.
They're not so much in the new video games business anymore, or at least they haven't been.
And it sounds like they still aren't.
They aren't, but they're going to let other people, smaller devs, take a stab at making stuff for some of their classic series, including Metal Gear, which I think would be the most interesting one, but also Silent Hill, Castlevania. There was that story that came out that apparently Kojima Productions is working on a Silent Hill game, which is a rumor that's been swirling forever, which also kind of conflicts with Microsoft maybe partnering with him on a project. So we'll see how that pans out. It's a contest, and there's a grand prize of 2 million yen, or about $18,000 US, and Konami will offer to publish works that can be commercialized. In addition to investing up to 30 million yen, which is $270,000 US, in development funds for commercialized projects, Konami will provide supervision, production advice, and support regarding localization, promotion, and development equipment. So I don't know. This seems like it could be cool.
Yeah.
They're not doing anything with these properties. They might as well let someone else take a stab at it. And I don't know. I would be maybe not so much Metal Gear, but maybe Metal Gear. I don't know.
Well, so the persistent rumors that are still going around is that there is a company out there that is remaking a Metal Gear game. A lot of people thought it was Metal Gear Solid 1, and a lot of people thought it was Blue Point. And it turns out that it might instead be Metal Gear Solid 3, and it's from a different developer. What was that developer? It starts with a V.
Blue Point?
Visionaries. Yeah. It's in the article that you linked here. Virtuous. That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one? There's two articles here. Yeah, Virtuous.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Nothing to show
Still neat.
or see. Yeah, but it's cool. I assumed many of those series were just dead. Like Konami was either going to sell them off to somebody else or just...
They made a Metal Gear pachinko machine, so how could it be dead?
I made that terrible Metal Gear Survive game a couple years ago.
2018, yeah.
Yeah, so... hey, guys. Did somebody say Switch Pro?
It's dead, Johnny.
Nobody said that.
Not OLED Switch. Switch Pro.
The one that's coming out tomorrow.
Yes.
2 days.
So Nintendo just, they try as they might, they can't shake this rumor. And and a report came out last week that there were devs who had development kits in their possession for this 4K model Switch, and Nintendo came out to calm down their investors and reassure them that these are. Let's see. A news report on September 30th, 2021 falsely claims that Nintendo is supplying tools to drive game development for Nintendo Switch with 4K support. To ensure correct understanding among our investors and customers, we want to clarify that this report is not true. We also want to state that, as we announced in July, we have no plans for any new model other than Nintendo Switch OLED model, which will launch on October 8th, 2021.
I mean, that plans language is just it is
the most corporate.
Yeah, but it's vague enough that it could mean anything or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, they could be working on it. They just have no plans to release it. Like, it's of course, 100%. Nintendo is thinking about how to get a better Switch out there.
Uh-huh.
That's always something that they're thinking about.
Exactly.
Does it lead to concrete plans of something actually getting made and actually getting put out there in the market? Who knows?
Yeah, it was DS, DS Lite, DSi, DSi XL, 3DS, 3DS Lite, 3DS XL, new Nintendo 3DS.
But until this thing is real and out there and they're talking about it, we've just been through the song and dance enough times. Like, we know they're thinking about it, obviously, but we don't know. Everything has to line up correctly, and we're still in a global chip shortage, which I'm sure is leading to a lot of problems if you're trying to put out some brand new kind of hardware. I think we can all just chill. The Switch is fine. The OLED Switch is probably also fine, but like, the Switch is fine, despite what Bobby says. Like, we don't need.
It's showing its age.
It's flagged. It's having some performance issues.
Yeah.
Third party support will continue to wane, or things will be, like what a lot of things are, where it's like streaming. It's not actually on the device.
I still like it. I still like my Switch.
Yeah, it is a fantastic product.
I'm going to get the OLED on Friday, and
OLED.
I'll have that. And if a 4K version comes out, I'll upgrade to that.
Yep. But keeping the Nintendo news rolling, we had a direct on the 24th that we were unable to talk about on the last podcast because it was the preview. But I thought we could just quickly fire off some of the announcements and things that we saw at that direct. I think
there's a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff.
We certainly don't need to cover it all.
No, we don't.
Kirby looks really good.
I was just going to say, I'm really excited for this Kirby game they announced. It's a 3D Kirby. It's Kirby in the Forgotten Land. That comes out next spring. As wide open areas, it showed Kirby running around in, like the ruins of the city.
It had a real Super Mario Odyssey vibe, except with Kirby in there. Like, it is not just a 2D Kirby thing. This is like you were going around 3D spaces and playing as Kirby, and that seems kind of cool.
Sucking dudes up, taking their powers. It looks real good. We got an announcement that N64 and Sega Genesis games will be coming to the Switch in a higher tier Nintendo Switch Online membership, and they gave no pricing information.
I have two problems with this. One problem is that there were rumors about Game Boy and Game Boy Color, and those did not pan out, or at least didn't pan out for now.
Yeah,
which is a bummer. The second, they're calling this an expansion pack.
Yeah,
and they didn't spell it PAK. They spelled it PACK. It's like, if you're bringing Nintendo 64 games to the Switch, you call it the expansion pack PAK. What are you doing? What are you doing, Nintendo?
I don't know.
Of course, I have a bone to pick about it as well. And it's that their monthly offerings for those services that they already have been so piss poor when it comes to adding stuff in.
They start strong, and then they just kind of go like, here's...
Because there's only, realistically, how many SNES, NES games are you really going to go back and play that you've never played before? You're going to play your Super Marios.
That's fine. But
they're
putting
your what have you
shit out there.
Take it up with them, man.
That's
I don't know.
that's what I'm using this platform for. And so they're going to put out this whole new thing
Yes.
about an expansion pack
Get Reggie on the phone. I need to talk to Reggie.
where they're I don't like. What do you think?
I need better Switch games and a Bigfoot pizza.
Is this going to cost $5 more a month? Is this going to be upwards of $10 more a month to add that?
If it was going to be 5, they would have said it was 5. The fact that they didn't give a price makes me worry that it's going to be like $20 to $40 more a year for this stuff.
There are plenty of easy ways to play N64 and Sega Genesis.
No, I think that's fine, but you know, like at the end of the day, there has to be some other offering. Like their online shit's been so terrible for a while that like throwing on the games that we all want to play. I mean, I know that
you still have it pay for it though, right?
Well, yeah, my wife is obsessed with Animal Crossing, so we have the family one.
Oh,
Tetris
what do they give a
99
shit?
is still a
They
great
got
game.
you $20.
Yeah, and I think
and also like I'm using that service. I'm using that service. I don't mind it, and the other games are just a bonus. Like, will I upgrade to the N64 and Sega Genesis stuff? Probably depends on what games they put on it. But even then, I don't need it. That's not,
Mario Golf. That's Paper Mario.
That's closer. That's better.
F-Zero X.
Yeah, I mean, I have a Nintendo 64 hooked
Time.
up to my current television.
But your Switch is the best thing you've ever played.
Yeah.
Sure.
But
I've got this.
So, in conjunction with this announcement, they will also be putting out N64 controllers and Sega Genesis controllers.
$60 controllers.
Yeah, I thought it was 50.
50? That's still bad. It's still bad.
And the United States gets the bullshit 3-button model of the Genesis controller. Japan gets the 6-button one. Nintendo, what are you doing?
Europe gets the 6-button one too.
Those bastards, those smug European bastards.
All right, let's keep rolling
Take
here.
Your socialized healthcare and get out of here.
They showed off Bayonetta 3 finally. Hey, that game's happening. It's coming out in 2022. They showed off a little bit more of Splatoon 3, which also is coming to 2022.
You just got hijacked, Johnny.
Expansion.
I'm trying. You know me, guys. I don't like to dilly-dally. I like to move it along here on these podcasts.
So we also got Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak expansion.
Nobody cares.
Monster Hunter Rise also coming to PC early next year. Very exciting.
Everybody cares.
No, nobody cares.
There's an Animal Crossing Direct happening. They just put a date on that, the 15th, I think.
That's next week, yep.
Cool. Mario Party, who gives a shit?
Not me.
Okay, the most important news of the show, other than KOTOR coming to the Switch,
which is a big deal,
is they announced the casting for the new Mario Brothers movie. This is the hottest take you're going to hear about this.
We've already covered this on a couple of. I mean, we didn't cover all of it, but we mentioned it.
We mentioned it. Chris Pratt is Mario.
It's bad.
Charlie Day is Luigi, which I'm less upset about. Jack Black is Bowser. Okay.
That's legitimately good.
That's good.
Keegan-Michael Key is Toad.
That's ridiculous.
Which, I love Keegan-Michael Key. He is hilarious.
It's just
Toad.
It's just unnecessary.
Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong.
What are we doing?
Fred Armisen is Cranky Kong.
It's so stupid.
They're giving the man who has voiced Mario, Wario, Waluigi, Luigi, Charles Martinet some token roles in this thing. Just here's your little pittance. Thank you for your many years of service.
He
Charles
plays
Martinet.
a shy guy.
You wonder. I wonder if it's going to be like a. I don't want to say like a Rabbids thing, but if it's going to be something like Mario. This Mario is going to have to team up with Pixel Mario, and Pixel Mario will be voiced by Charles Martinet. Like I can see that.
Right? I don't know. It's fine. Whatever.
What the fuck is this? Is my question.
It's written by the person who wrote Minions, so it's Great. Minions but with Mario.
We did it, guys. I don't know why you did. Why did they make this?
Because Final Fantasy Spirits Within taught us nothing. Castlevania Advanced Collection, which Chase bought and is definitely going to play.
Sometime.
Metroid Dread got an extended trailer. That reviews came out for the day. They were
Whoa! We
pretty
skipped over
glowing.
the big important news. Project Triangle Strategy got
Is
a
now-
new name.
Thank
It got
you,
a
Chase.
brand new name.
Please.
It's an amazing name.
I feel I'm getting deja
Triangle
vu.
Strategy. Huh?
It's a show about nothing.
This is bad.
Square continues to innovate. We
Did
got
you-
a closer look at Yoko Taro's card RPG, Voice
That's
of
good.
Cards.
It's a good game.
That seems cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
that
good.
has a demo out right now. You can
Yeah.
do
Good.
that.
Dying Light 2 is getting cloud version. And Chocobo GP, that game looks fun. Some Hyrule Warriors. All right, is there anything else that we want to mention?
That's pretty much it. I mean, the one other thing they mentioned is ties into our next news story, and that's that there was the final Smash Brothers release was the final Smash Brothers character was going to be announced on
which
October
they did
5th.
Yesterday, the 5th.
Yeah,
and
today's
Chase,
the 6th, so obviously it happened already.
Chase and I watched that together, and it is Sora from Kingdom Hearts, which apparently I had completely forgotten this. So they did a poll back on the Wii U version of Smash Bros. Like, hey, what characters would you like to see the most? And Sora was the most requested character.
That is one of the most punchable faces I have ever seen.
Yeah, well, welcome to Kingdom Hearts.
Yep.
That's
Why is he smiling like that?
Because he's a goofy. I don't know. Because he's a dumb Disney character.
And the fans of Kingdom Hearts, come out in full. They are some of the weebiest weebs, and this is what happens. And it's fine. It's fine. He'll be okay.
I wanted Master Chief, but
you got Doom Guy.
Yeah. We did get a Doom Guy Mii costume, which is pretty ridiculous and
Doomy.
Okay. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah. Look, I'm happy for people.
They showed off his stuff. It looked cool. There was no Donald or Goofy in here at all. They only have the rights for Sora.
I have to imagine, like, what a licensing nightmare to get Sora.
Sure, absolutely. Like whole Kingdom Hearts itself is a licensing nightmare, and then to try to put Kingdom Hearts into anything else, ridiculous. Forget about it. But this was the winner of the poll. They knew they wanted it to happen, and I guess enough people came together and made it work. And looking at his move stuff, like he looks like he'll be an okay fighter. He's got some cool moves. He's not super gimmicked out like some of the other guys they've made. Like I wasn't a big fan of Steve and the way that they just threw on like a bunch of weird mechanics over him. But Sora will be fine.
Yeah,
it's a fine addition to the game.
He comes out, I think, 22nd. I feel like that's the date they told.
All right. Any other news?
Anyway, one last story here that broke shortly before we started recording this podcast. Randy Pitchford, you know him, you love him.
Yeah. Your favorite medieval times. Yes. Yes, he pulled the greatest magic trick. He disappeared.
He did. So he is stepping down as Gearbox Software president, but remains CEO of Gearbox Entertainment. So
we give you the rank of master, but you don't have a seat at this council.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not right. It's unfair.
He's going to be focusing more on the movie side of the biz.
Good.
Which
what does that mean? Because the last time we saw him, he was telling us about how cool the set was. He was like doing an on-set thing, which was just him with an iPhone, like going around and pestering people, like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And I'm like, "No, get the fuck away! I'm making a movie here." And he's like, "Oh, but I made the game for the movie." And they're like, "I don't give a shit. Go the fuck away.
Get out of here, you creep! You fucking Looney Tunes."
So
stop leaving your thumb drive in my camper and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, God, what a weird dude. Yeah, in a tweet he said he will still be responsible for, quote, high-level creative and business strategy, just generally making people very, very uncomfortable.
Yes, that's my job. I'm here to make people very uncomfortable.
Just, please. He's like, and I think you should leave Sketch come to life. And yeah, so this is not as exciting as if he was leaving the company entirely, but without him having as heavy of a hand in the actual game development, we'll see how this impacts future and Gearbox joints.
I bet it won't impact it all that much.
Probably not. But yeah, that story I saw shortly before we started recording, and I dropped that in there. Thought it was worth mentioning.
Thank you. Now I know where to avoid him.
Yep.
Johnny, thanks for getting us to the news. As we wrap up here tonight, we've got a few things to talk about. So, Johnny and Chase, you two will be back this time next week. I will not be back next week. I'm technically on vacation now, which feels great. My wife and I are going to be taking some time off together, and because of that, I am going to take a little break from the show as well, and we're going to kick that off starting Monday. We're going to cancel our Monday night stream for Casual Mondays, but I do want to take a minute and just throw it out there. Chase and I started a new series, The Casual Life, and we started Stardew Valley, which is awesome. A game that I've loved for some time, and a game that Chase has been keeping on the warm file for some time. We finally did it. We're playing multiplayer Stardew Valley, and I think, Chase, you're into it.
I think it's pretty cool. Yep,
it's a cool game.
So they made a Harvest Moon.
They made a Harvest Moon. So we will not be playing that on this Monday, but we will be back the following Monday, which I believe is the 19th or 18th, Monday the 18th, with part 2 of that, where we're going to continue to expand our farm and have a great time doing that as well. But tomorrow night, or tonight, if you're listening to this on audio form, tune in on Friday night, Friday the 7th, to watch Johnny and I team up in Far Cry 6, right?
Friday the 8th.
Friday the 8th, sorry.
Metroid Dread Day.
Metroid Dread Day. Tune in Friday the 8th for Johnny and I playing some Far Cry. If you want to follow along with what we're up to, you can do so. Oh, I forgot. Everything got reset with Twitch passwords. You can follow along in chat by going there. But casualhour.com is a great place for those listening. We linked everything. You can find out what's happening there. So this week, we will have a quick look going up tomorrow on Thursday. Go to youtube.com/casualhour. Check it out if you're listening. And come back 10:30 p.m. Central on twitch.tv/casualhour to check out our live stream of Far Cry 6, where we team up and hit people with shovels. Chase, you've been busy too, though.
Oh boy, I've been so busy. Yeah. So I do another show outside of this show. It's called Gamers on the Go. And I just recorded a new episode of that last night. And it will be going up also on October 8th, this Friday. That is Metroid Dread Day. And to celebrate Metroid Dread Day, this new podcast is on Metroid Samus Returns, the 2017 3DS game. So, which was also made by Mercury Steam, the developers behind Metroid Dread. So that's pretty cool. We have a good friend of the show, Matt Jiggy-san Jaguar, is on there with me as we talk about that game. And that was a good time. So you can find.
Are you getting Dread?
No.
Okay.
I think Samus Returns was fine, and I had a decent amount of time with it, or a decent amount of fun with it, and I think I'm okay letting that one slide and letting other people enjoy Dread, but I'll be okay.
Cool.
Yeah, you can hear more of my thoughts on Samus Returns and Matt's thoughts on it as well at gamersonthego.com.
That's awesome. Johnny, what's new with you and Jude, your son, your gamer son?
He just still Minecraft. Still reading Harry Potter to him up before bed each night. That's been really great. He hasn't played the Hot Wheels game with me yet, which is disappointing, but whatever. I'm having fun with it. So that's all that matters, I guess, right?
God.
It's just Minecraft. I know I say that every week, but I don't know. I've never seen someone so obsessed with a game, except maybe Chase with Destiny.
Fair.
But that's more of like an addiction. I guess Minecraft is like an addiction as well. Anyway, I'm rambling.
Johnny and Chase, both thank you so much for everything tonight, and appreciate you in advance for running the show next week while I'm out. Hopefully
It'll be a deep dive.
So yeah, it'll be a deep dive. Come back. Chase has got something special
I
planned
wonder
for
what
everybody.
it could be about.
Come and check it out. We'll be back next week.